Waxahachie is not your most affordable suburb, but it's a heck of a lot less expensive than Midlothian, or Frisco, or Mansfield, or Rockwall, or even Flower Mound. It's exploding in growth, and in a time when every dollar counts, Waxahachie is actually becoming more affordable. In fact, we're going to explore affordability in Waxahachie today. We're going to talk about the very exciting, huge property tax reform the city just passed. Next, we're going to take a look at home prices, and spoiler alert, they've dropped a lot. And finally, we're going to take a vlog tour around the city, because while we're on this whole topic of affordability, I'm going to get your feet on the ground and take you all over town to show you 8 different neighborhoods in Waxahachie where you can buy a home for under $300,000. Well, hello, this is Wendy Pinnell, and John Garrett describes Waxahachie this way. He says, if you're looking for a booming town, you came to the right place, because this place is blowing up. He's not wrong either. According to Natalie Walters, Waxahachie has nearly doubled its population since 2000. Walters describes how more than 1,000 building permits were issued last year just for single-family homes. City Manager Michael Scott says the population growth has been beyond what we've ever experienced before. Waxahachie has plenty of room for the growth too. According to Walters, they have 95 miles of extraterritorial jurisdiction, as well as 4,000 available lots within city limits. So what's the first thing you hear about cities exploding in growth? Well, they want to talk about bonds. They want to talk about raising property taxes. After all, they've got infrastructure to build. Well, that may be true in other suburbs, but it's not true in Waxahachie. When the city council met late last year, Chris Rourke reported that the Waxahachie City Council had approved its budget, and the property tax rate will drop from 0.66 per $100 valuation to 0.63. So yeah, you heard me right. They lowered the tax rate. Now, if you're a little fuzzy on the details, Rourke explains how property taxes are assessed in Waxahachie. He explains that city taxes represent 31% of a property owner's tax bill, with the school district's portion making up 54% and Ellis County making up 15%. So the city council just agreed to drop the rate on the city taxes. Councilman Chris Wright put it this way. He said the council is looking at some way to lessen the tax burden on you this year. So the city of Waxahachie could raise the property taxes, for fancy new programs and over-the-top infrastructure, but instead the city council set up, the way they put it, they set up the tax rate for what we need, not what we want. At that meeting, Councilman Wright also alluded to increasing the homestead exemption for residents ages 65 and older, as well as implementing an optional homestead. And guess what? That's exactly what they did. Earlier this month, the council met and unanimously approved an ordinance to establish a homestead exemption of 1% of the residents' homestead. Chris Rourke explains that a homestead exemption removes part of the value of a property from being taxed. Now, he goes on to say 1% of the homeowner's property appraisal would be reduced when determining the homeowner's property taxes. Your basic Waxahachie homeowner can claim not 1, but 2 homestead exemptions on their property taxes. So yeah, Waxahachie lowered the property taxes yet again, and that's not even the only tax break Waxahachieans get. Rourke explains that Waxahachie also offers homestead exemptions for people over 65 and residents with a disability, as well as a tax ceiling for both groups. He concludes that Waxahachie is the only one out of its comparison cities that offers all 4 exemptions. Councilwoman Wallace sums it up well. She says, it is the will of the city council to find new ways of giving some relief. And really, that's it in a nutshell, okay? Waxahachie isn't about constantly pushing for the higher property tax. Their goal is to make living in Waxahachie affordable. And speaking of affordable, let's take a look at a Waxahachie market update. I mean, this is exciting to look at, right? Because home prices are coming down and you can get a fantastic deal, okay? So between December and January, just 1 month, mind you, the median sales price in Waxahachie dropped an astonishing 12.5%, from $428,850 to $374,900. Now that's the median price, mind you, right? Meaning there are just as many homes priced less than that as there are more than that. Now, also, folks buying a home in Waxahachie have some bartering room, because in January, homes sold at an average of 93.7% of list price. Buyers are making lower offers and sellers are accepting those offers. Now let's talk about months supply for a minute. Now if you don't know what that is, month supply is the number of months it would take for the current inventory of homes on the market to sell given the current sales pace. Well, the term month supply is important because it's used as a metric in evaluating whether we're in a seller or buyer's market. Texas A&M's Real Estate Center explains that when inventory levels fall to less than 6 months, sellers have control over price and terms, resulting in a seller's market. They continue that, on the other hand, a buyer's market is a time when demand for housing is low, allowing buyers to dictate price and terms if a seller wants to make a deal. So where does Waxahachie fall with this? Well, Waxahachie as a whole, okay, all of it, has a 3.1 months supply. But I found this to be very interesting. Their month supply for new construction is up 233% at 7 months supply. So if you want to go solely by the month supply metric, that would put existing homes in a seller's market and new construction in a buyer's market. So if you want a good deal and a lot of selection on new construction, man, Waxahachie is where you're going to find it, okay? Now, I'll give you an idea of what that selection looks like. Waxahachie currently has 129 new construction homes listed. 20 of those are under $400,000. 94 are within $400,000 and $600,000, and 15 are above $600,000. Now, I recently did a video on how many builders have switched gears and are focusing on affordable new construction right now. Well, it looks like Waxahachie is not there yet, okay? They have a lot of selection, but it is really geared towards the move-up buyer who's coming in, with that high down payment. But how has Waxahachie done year over year? I mean, we all know it's been a crazy year of interest rates more than doubling. So how are Waxahachie homes holding up in this market? Well, in January of 2022, the average sales price was $391,645. It peaked in September at $455,000 and some change. So yeah, it increased almost 14% in 9 months. In September, it took a giant slide down to where it is today at $413,672. So that's a 9% drop in 5 months. So where does that leave us? Well, if we compare year over year from January to January, home prices are up 5%. Now, I realize it's possible you may be thinking, hey Wendy, that average sales price of $413,000 is still over my budget. And I can understand that. I mean, there's a real advantage to the move-up buyer who's coming in with a large down payment. First-time home buyers aren't coming in with that chunk of change, so $413,000 may still be completely out of reach. Well, the good news is we at Home in Dallas work with buyers of all price ranges. So if you have a move in your future, definitely check out our Let's Find Home questionnaire and let's get the ball rolling. Well, I've got some good news. Even with an average sales price of $413,000, Waxahachie still has plenty of affordable lower priced homes. So I want to show you neighborhoods in Waxahachie right now that are selling for under $300,000. Now the thing is, even though Waxahachie has plenty of high-end homes and expensive new construction, like I said, it also has plenty in the lower price ranges too. And of course, the cherry on top of all of that is the lower property taxes. So let's get our feet on the ground and head on over to Trinity Heights. Now the average sales price here is $206,000 and buyers are getting a good deal too. Homes are selling at just 91% of their list price. You're gonna find frame homes and cottages here built in the 1920s. So yeah, I mean, I realize this is a humble neighborhood, okay? But I'm just showing you Waxahachie is a possibility in the $200,000 range. A little higher up in price, we have Indian Hills. The average sales price in Indian Hills is $256,000, and again, buyers have a real edge, okay? Homes are selling at 92% of their list price. Homes here are built in the 70s and 80s. Next up on our list is Cliff Estates. The average sales price in Cliff Estates is $260,000, and homes are in a little higher demand here. They're selling at roughly like 99% of their list price. And that makes sense because these are newer homes. They're built in the early 2000s. Gingerbread is another adorable lower price neighborhood. Homes here are selling at an average of $275,000. Buyers have a negotiating edge here with homes selling at 94% of list price. You're going to find homes here built in the mid 80s to mid 90s. Moving on, let's talk about River Oaks number 4. Homes in River Oaks are selling at an average sales price of $290,000. They're selling at 95% of list price, which that kind of surprised me because these are newer homes. Homes in River Oaks were built in the early 2000s. Beginning with Garden Valley Ranch, we saw homes selling at an average sales price above $300,000, but there are still plenty of homes below that $300K mark as well. In Garden Valley Ranch, you'll find an average sales price of $303,000. Homes are selling at an average of 97% of their list price. They have some nice new homes here. They're built between like the 2005s and 2010s. In Settlers Glen Edition, you'll find an average sales price of $325,000, but again, you will find homes under $300,000 here. Homes are selling at 98% of list price. They were built starting in the 2005s all the way up to the 2020s. Now tell me, how cool would that be to score a home under $300,000 that was built in the 2020s? And finally, I was very surprised to find homes under $300,000 in this neighborhood, but nonetheless, they are there. So Buffalo Ridge. Buffalo Ridge has homes with an average sales price of $427,000, but they actually do have homes priced under $300,000 here too. Now this would be an area where you would want to snatch it up, okay? Because this is a beautiful neighborhood with new homes. Now, as you might imagine, the homes are selling at 99% of their list price, right? They're newer here, built like anywhere from the 2005s all the way up to the present. Through all of these neighborhoods, I was really surprised at how many are selling below list price. Like in Trinity Heights, homes are selling at 91% of list price. I mean, some of the others were at like 92%, 95%. I mean, that screams buyer's market, regardless of Waxahachie only having 3 months supply. The whole month supply thing, okay, I unload that myth in this video, which you may want to watch next. In the meantime, Wendy out.